So this is my first YouTube video. I do lots on Facebook, live feeds, which has helped some people around the world. My name's Adrian, I'm 38 years old. I'm a survivor of child abuse. As a man, it's not been an easy thing to say. It's not been an easy thing to come out with. But for 30 years of my life, I carried that blame, shame and guilt. I never knew why I was angry all the time. I never really knew that I grew up so quick. It's been 7.5, 8 years old to suffer what I suffered. I grew up very, very fast. And then to go into my early years of my parents separating, and then losing my father because of the separation, not through death, just for moving out, and then to come home one day to find my mother had gone and left us with my father, you know. So there was another challenge in life. A lot of blame, shame, guilt. Was it my fault? Why did I suffer the abuse? Is it because of what happened to me? Did my parents split up? So being left with my father eventually remarried, and I started to suffer emotional abuse. Food cupboards being locked, not being allowed into the house, having to ask if we could have a drink. If they said no, we weren't allowed. You know, and I think for the majority of my life growing up, my childhood was destroyed, taken away from me. I never felt the same as the other kids. I felt different. I felt it was my fault. What did I do that was so wrong? Did I encourage it? I became very angry. Very, very angry. I started to hate people. I hated myself. I put the barriers up. I grew up very quickly. You know, at the age of, I think 11.5, 12 years old, I was working in a fruit and veg shop just to earn a few bit of money to buy some food because I couldn't eat. You know, earning a few quid each week as a young age, trying to go through school. I always felt different from everybody else. It was hard. The emotions I had inside was of hatred, anger, and I always put on the projection of a hard man, skinhead. Yes, I could fight. You know, I was a fighter. That was something I learned very quickly, and I was potentially very good at it. So I went through my school years of not doing very well, struggling to cope with everything, but no one knew about the abuse. It wasn't until my third year of school that got into a significant fight, and I hurt the person quite badly. A lot of the anger came out all at once. You know, and then you go through school, you finish school at the age of 16, my home life was terrible. I couldn't associate, I disassociated everything, just couldn't cope. And I never knew really why. So at the age of 16, I moved to London, became a chef, and that was part of me running away. Couldn't face a lot of things. There was a lot of low self-esteem issues. I didn't like myself. I blamed myself. I couldn't come to terms with my feelings and my emotions were just all over the place. And being a guy talking about this, I'm trying to inspire other guys, because it does happen to men. It's not just about women. As men, we're supposed to be hard and deal with everything and don't talk about it, you know. When the abuse happened, don't tell anyone, because they're not going to believe you. You know, it's drummed into your head from a young age. So you never told no one. So when you move out of the town, you know, as a 16-year-old boy, thought I was a man. You know, I grew up learning all the sexual innuendos in the kitchen, you know, how men were treating people. And, you know, my brain was wired slightly different. You know, I started to pick up things that technically is not how you treat people. But I didn't associate the two, if you get what I mean. So I learned a lot of bad things. Again, the self-respect, taking care of myself was never there. You know, and as a man, you know, I went on to go through life, eventually got married, eventually had kids. But there's always something missing in my life. There was just something never right. You know, I had a lot of problems. I went to work in security because I was good at it. Hurting people was easy for me because I'd been hurt. So I was good at fighting, and that's something that I always kind of not chose to do, but something that I always did, because, you know, I'd either do one of two things. I'd either go out fighting, because that's the dog, that's not me farting, by the way. I'd either go out fighting, or I'd be really silly at parties. Because whichever way round I did it, I didn't want people to see my pain. So whether or not I was being funny because I didn't want people to see actually inside I was hurting, or whether I was violent because I was upset and angry. So it's the Newton cradle effect, all or nothing, and I couldn't distinguish between the two. Subsequently, my marriage has broken down after 15 years of marriage, because of the person that I'd become. Yes, it's hard, but also there's some good come out of it. I went and sought help, and for a man to reach out for help is very difficult. There are not many things around for men. Okay, so it was very, very difficult, and it was a challenging time for me to reach out for help. But I reached out for help, and in doing so I discovered that I actually had 2 mental illnesses. Post-traumatic stress disorder and borderline personality disorder. And that explained an awful lot. It gave me somewhere to sit down and think, actually, this is me. This is, you know, the psychiatrist was right. I am I am these illnesses. And that was a shock, because despite knowing I was different, I didn't know why. And now I kind of had answers as to why. So I sought help, and I sought to try and get myself into recovery. Now, for guys, don't be afraid to speak out. It does happen to us men. You're not alone. So I eventually found a group for a friend of mine. It's called ARCA. And I'll try and put the link in, but I've never done YouTube before, so kind of bear with me. It's assisting adults recovering from child abuse. And it's based in my local area. And I reached out to them, and I was welcomed. Yes, it's a mixed group. I was welcomed. And the first thing I did was have a one-to-one with the guy that ran the group, John. And he sat down and we spoke about a few things, and he showed me a piece of paper which was statistics of what happens to survivors. And I was ticking every box. 100% this, 98% that, 88% this. I was ticking everything. It was me. And he said the most powerfulest words I've ever heard in my life. I'm a normal person having a normal reaction to surviving abuse. They changed my world. Those words, I am normal and I'm having a normal reaction, changed my life. So that started turning around. It's too late for my marriage. I couldn't save that. But guys, speak out. Don't be ashamed of it just because we're men. You know, there's not much support out there for men. A lot of it is geared towards women, I grant you, because women speak out about it. Men, don't be ashamed. It's not your fault. You didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve what happened to me. I've stopped blaming myself. Those key words, I am a normal person having a normal reaction. And through the support group, I've gone from strength to strength. I've opened up a lot more. I've got more issues to sort out. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You know, and I think this is the first one I'm going to do, and it's not going to be a very short video. But I just want you guys to realise, sorry girls, but it is about men. This does happen to men. Don't be afraid anymore, and don't be ashamed, because people out there will believe you. For years I was told no one will believe me. We will believe you, because it does happen. And I urge every single one of you, if it has happened to you, it's time to lose that blame. It's not yours anymore. Give it back to where it belongs, because it's not yours. You didn't ask for it. You didn't deserve it. I encourage you, and I'll support you if I can. Speak out. Get the help before your life turns into what mine has. Yes, mine's been damaged and I've lost my family. But that's through no fault of my own. I didn't ask to be who I am, to be a survivor. It's happened to me. I'm no longer a victim. I hope this helps. My first video, I've not done many, as I say. My Facebook, I've done more on, but I just wanted to put this one out there. Reach out, guys, because it is something that you're not to be ashamed of anymore, as I've said before. It affects a lot of things, and I will try and do some more videos if I get followers and stuff. I'll try and do a bit more. But I just want to see how this one goes, and I urge every single one of you to never be ashamed anymore. It wasn't your fault, you didn't ask for it. Step up, speak out, give it back. It will change your life. You are normal, you're having a normal reaction. It's time to fix those reactions, rebuild your foundations, make them stronger, and start rebuilding you. I hope everyone takes a little something from this video, and please comment if you need to. Thanks, guys.